Hey folks, Blackcross here, and welcome back to the PlayStation 2 Legacy, where we take a look at the vast library of games that's available for the PlayStation 2. And today, we are going to be diving into Escape from Monkey Island. Now, I'm familiar with the name, I'm not familiar with the games, I just know that it's sort of like a point-and-click adventure type thing. And that's basically all I know, technically. This was made by Lucas Arts. I believe it's Lucas Arts. Yeah, Lucas Arts. One of the very games Lucas Arts made, much like with Sam & Max and all that stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this turns out. I imagine this is gonna be hilarious. Hopefully it is. And if the loading process works, we'll be alright. So let's just go ahead and get into it then, shall we?
From the personal log of Guybrush Threepwood. Sometimes when it's quiet, I can still hear the monkeys. It's hard to believe that it's only been a few years since I first washed up on the beaches of Melee Island, armed with nothing more than a goofy name and an overpowering urge to become a swashbuckling pirate. I want to be a pirate. Who could have suspected that such a humble pursuit would lead me to cross swords with the evil ghost pirate LeChuck, the slimiest slug ever to plunder the seven seas? And who could have guessed that my battles with LeChuck would introduce me to the love of my life, Melee Island's Governor Elaine Marley? Or that my efforts to win Elaine's hand would repeatedly drag me to the mystery-drenched shores of Monkey Island. That's the second biggest monkey head I've ever seen. Or that I would finally end the scourge of LeChuck, burying him beneath a mountain of ice. Not me, that's for sure. Back then, the only thing duller than my sword was my wit. Now look at me. I'm married to the most beautiful governmental official in the Caribbean. The entire Tri-Island area shudders at the sound of my name. And now my Plunder Bunny and I are returning to Melee Island after the most incredible honeymoon in the history of... Guybrush! Yes, dear?
Well... Interesting!
Stop daydreaming and make yourself useful.
He seemed a bit tied up right there. Very tied up, in fact. I like the little thing where he just fell through and it leaves a whole print. That's funny. Let's see.
There's an enemy pirate fighting over there. It's the grated door to the ship's cargo hold. It's full of hot coals. He loaded that cannon. That cannon looks ready to fire. If only I could get that thing to go off.
Okay. I see now what needs to be done.
It's full of hot coals.
I realize that. Aha! I knew it!
It's full of hot coals. There's a pile of red-hot coals simmering on the deck there. Now I'm glad we got the ship with the flame-retardant lacquered deckwood.
That helps. Ah, there we go. Let's see. Oh, wow. Not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of how the analog thing's working, because the directional path ain't helping. So I'm having to move him while moving the thing. Let's see. Well, that worked nicely. Wow! What was in that cannon? A nuclear bomb or something? Right choice.
Little snaggle cakes.
Hey, Elaine. Could you untie me?
It did say witty dialogue. I can believe that now. Also, is that a roller pin with a carrot?
Over the rail. Now that's the stuff of pirates.
I hope the loyal citizens of Manly don't hurt themselves. I mean, you know, all the pushing and shoving on the dock to see my, well, our return. It'd be dangerous. Make sure this one stays on top.
Then there was the swab who came at me with the rusty fit. I sure taught him a thing or two about the proper use of deck chairs. Got it.
Well, the treasure chest, so I'm assume there's treasure in.
The burden of being the governor of such
Well, there goes that item.
unsophisticated.
We work together, the way we anticipate each other's every move. There's nothing we can't accomplish.
Oh, well, here goes. Might as well get all the hullabaloo over with. What? Where is everyone?
Maybe everyone went to bed early?
Where's the welcoming committee? The banners? The crushing throng of well-wishers? Oh dear. Do you know what this means?
We could spend another 3 months honeymooning.
Let's try 17, 4.2, minus 27. Liar!
Ah!
What do you think you're doing? What does he look like I'm doing, fancy pants? I'm knocking down the governor's mansion.
You can't knock down the governor's mansion without approval from the governor.
Yeah, the governor's dead, man.
Dead?
Was the marriage that killed her, they say.
But I am the governor. Do I look dead to you?
No, ma'am.
Then cease and desist your boulder flinging immediately.
Yeah. Sorry, Governor. I'm on the contract. I'm legally obligated to destroy your mansion with this here catapult.
Something's rotten on Melee Island.
I know. But the stench usually drifts away with high tide.
I've got a plan.
Although it sometimes lingers during an eclipse.
Guybrush!
Yes, dear?
I'm going down to City Hall to see about getting declared undead.
Won't that make you a flesh-eating zombie?
In the meantime, I need you to do 2 things for me.
More back rubs and foot massages?
And maybe later. First, I want you to put a stop to this insane boulder playing.
Stop the insanity. Check.
Second, I want you to go to Lucre Island, talk to my grandpa's lawyers. They might know how to help us fight City Hall.
Oh, but I hate talking to lawyers.
And not as much as they'll hate talking to you, dear.
Okay.
Well, I've got a resurrection to perform. Be good, dear.
Okay, well. Okay, I cannot move. There we go.
Hey, get away from there before I pop you one on the head, capiche? Good. Now stay over there, pencil neck.
What are those numbers you're muttering?
You know, I don't rightly know. They're supposed to be targeting numbers or something, but I'll be danged if I can figure them out. All I know is how to hit that cactus. I'm trying to extrapolate from there.
Could you show me how to hit the cactus?
Nah, I only do that when I think the catapult's out of alignment. I wouldn't want to waste one of these boulders. They're expensive.
Okay, sure.
Not that I'm complaining, but why are you having such a hard time hitting my house?
It's this catapult. I've never seen such a finicky piece of machinery. Besides which, it throws like a girl.
Oh, well. Good to know.
Stop firing boulders at my house. It's very unnerving.
Sorry about that, kid, but I'm under contract.
Okay, well, maybe this might be.
How would you like to join my crew of mighty pirates?
I'd love to, but I can't. My contract explicitly states that I'm not to leave Melee Island until this house has been demolished.
Okay, well, interesting. I'm sure there's something that I can do. I'm just not seeing it.
Let's try 15.
Okay, we can explore the house.
Let's try 15.
No way. I don't want to be inside if that guy actually gets lucky and hits the house.
Wait, what about this
I
cactus?
wonder how these cacti got onto our tropical pirate island.
Okay, what about these other cactus?
That is one fat bird.
What about this one that looks like a pig?
That pig-shaped bush frightens and confuses me.
How does it confuse you? I feel like if I can get that out of alignment, then it might do something. But to do that, I would need to carefully inspect the catapult.
Hey, get away from there before I pop you one on the head, capiche?
Well, that's definitely not gonna work.
Good. Now stay over there, pencil neck.
Okay, I think at this point there's nothing else we can look at, so... Let's see if it'll even let us... Yeah, we can get out.
Ahoy there, fellow seafaring wastrels.
Oh, sorry about that.
You startled us.
Yeah, that's it. I startled.
Okay.
You two look awfully familiar.
Oh, we have very common-looking faces. Isn't that right?
Oh, definitely. Can't swing a dead Chinook around here without hitting someone who look like us.
Didn't we share a cruise to Monkey Island once?
I don't think so.
Carla, make the bad man stop. He's come to take us back to Monkey Island.
Carla?
Who?
You can't fool me. You're Carla, the sword master of Melee Island. And you're Otis.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let it go, Otis. The half-witch recognized us.
I knew you guys looked familiar. You were
I haven't even played the games.
crew.
The crew you abandoned on Monkey Island, you mean?
Do you have any idea how difficult it is to escape from Monkey Island?
No. How difficult is it to?
Escape from Monkey Island.
Well, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
So, what have you rapscallions been up to?
Where to begin?
What have you been doing with yourself, Carla?
You mean after I finally managed to escape from Monkey Island?
You're never gonna forgive me for that, are you?
Not in this lifetime. Anyhow,
Oosh.
I've spent the last few years here on Melee Island re-establishing my swordmaster credentials.
Well, that sounds productive.
Oh, it was. Until that Australian showed up.
Australian?
Yeah, an Australian real estate developer. He challenged me to a round of insult sword fighting, badgered me into betting my house. It was over so quickly.
Gee,
Now I wander the streets of Melee insult sword fighting for food.
how sad. How about you, Otis? What have you been doing for the last few years?
Well, after I finally escaped from Monkey Island, I made my way back to Melee Island, where I tried to resume my former profession.
Petty thievery?
I prefer to think of it as proactive redistribution of wealth. Unfortunately, the indignities I suffer on Monkey Island have left me so jittery that I cannot pick a lock or a pocket without making more noise than a flatulent hippo.
What vivid imagery. So how do you earn a living?
Begging mostly. You'd be amazed how many people will pay to hear the story of the innocent pirates who were betrayed by their idiot captain.
Ouch. Well, obviously there's nothing we can do here, sadly.
Ahoy, mateys!
Buzz up, buzzard breath.
Yeah, can't you see we're busy here?
Yeah, busy making holes in the wall.
Listen, we're playing for the title of Grand Master Dart Champion of Melee Island.
Yeah, and unless you're good enough to compete,
Which you aren't.
we'd advise that you take a long walk off a short pier.
I'm a dart-throwing maniac.
Really?
Back in grade school, they called me the Dart Master. Or something that rhymed with that, anyway. So, can I join your game?
No.
Who's winning?
Right now, we're in a dead tie.
Well, I guess I'll be shoving off now.
Are you still here?
The human body is a beautiful thing. Most of the time. Ooh.
Yeah, about to say, I can barely make it out, but, I'd rather not try.
You got any snacks?
I've got some pretzels.
Well, that seems harmless enough.
Yep. The Scumbar's famous kudu turkey pretzels.
Ooh. Got anything else?
Not really.
Okay, let's have some.
Sorry, can't give you any.
What? Why did you...
That drunk at the table over there, he has the last basket.
Can't you give them to me without a basket?
Sorry, it's Scumbar policy.
Well,
Grog me, barkeep.
I'd be glad to. After you show me some ID.
Since when do groggeries check for ID?
Since unscrupulous Australian developers started trying to get our grog license revoked.
ah, fair point. Okay, well, let's take a look at this one guy then.
Hi there, fellow swashbuckler. What's the word on the street? Got any more juicy nuggets of info? How would you like to join my crew on a dangerous piratey mission?
Oh boy, this is not going to be easy figuring out what he's saying.
We'll be heading to Lucre Island to meet with my wife's lawyers. You're right. That does sound sort of silly when I say it out loud. Say, mind if I have some of your pretzels?
I have no idea what you're saying.
You sure I can't have any of your pretzels? You look like a busy man. I'll let you get back to your self-destructive binge drinking.
Okay, well, who are you then?
Hi there, scruffy-looking pirate person. I'm Guybrush Threepwood, mighty pirate. What's your name?
Cheese. Ignatius Cheese.
Okay.
What big arms you have, Mr. Cheese.
The better to insult arm wrestle with, Mr. Threepwood.
Wait, did you just say insult arm?
Insult arm wrestling?
Aye. While you were away, the insult sword fighting paradigm became attached to a host of other pirate pastimes.
Paradigm?
Well, nowadays you can't throw a dart or play a game of checkers without being expected to toss in a withering bon mot.
I think I tossed a bon mot in a food fight once.
My particular speciality is insult arm wrestling, which I use to defend my bar from hostile takeovers.
Fascinating.
Wait a minute. Your name is I Cheese?
Aye.
Cheese?
Aye.
Okay, that's funny.
Just like insult sword fighting, but with arm wrestling.
Ah. It's been nice chatting, but I've got to see a man about a monkey.
Okay, so far it doesn't look like I can do anything.
Not even a...
It's one of those things where you gotta find the stuff in order to do the stuff. And unfortunately, I'm not in the fast track of finding stuff.
Yikes!
Hello.
You pulled?
Hey, it's you!
Yes, it is I.
You seem to show up whenever I'm in trouble. Why?
Who can say? Perhaps it's because we share an unspoken magical bond. Perhaps the fates have intertwined our destinies. Or maybe I've got an unbreakable 5-game deal with LucasArts. The cards have foretold that you seek direction.
How do I stop that weasel from hurling rocks at my house?
What goes up must come down. But what's more important is where it comes down.
Yeah, like on my house. I'm still not sure how to stop my house from getting destroyed.
Gravity is your friend. Use their own instruments against them.
You mean like grab a rock and throw it at the guy's head? That might be the only option that I've got.
Do you have any plus 10 strength elixirs in stock?
Perhaps. What are your current stats?
I don't think I've got any.
Well then, what good would a strength elixir do?
I see your point.
Wait, what? What? I'm sorry, what?
I could really use a potion that would make me immune to severe gas attacks.
You're telling me. Our shipment from Booty.
What the? That was weird. What the frick? Okay.
Okay.
Wait, he's actually doing it?
Goodbye, cruel adventure game. Forget it.
I was like, what? Hang on, what?
One eternity later.
Aren't you playing insult dart throwing?
The official Tri-Island Dart Throwing Semi-Professional League rulebook clearly states all dart competitions must be won by dart throwing skill, not by any other means such as bribery, insults, threats, or otherwise.
Fair point. Oh, here we go.
No, really, pick a number. You need it.
Here it goes.
I bet you can't hit that balloon over there.
Ha! That's easy.
Oh no. That gives us a chance to take the little thing.
Kudu jerky pretzels. I guess he won't be needing these anymore. If I beat you at insult arm wrestling, will you be my navigator?
That's an interesting proposition, Threepwood.
It is? I mean, of course it is.
How about this? If you beat me, I'll be your navigator.
Great.
But only if you teach me some new insults.
Agreed.
Well then, let's see what you've got.
Oh, that chair just pulled up on its own.
I've got muscles in places you've never even heard of.
Oh, it's too bad none of them are in your arms. My forearms have been mistaken for tree trunks.
From the size of your gut, I guess they were eaten.
My stupefying strength will shatter your old pit a million pieces.
Why? You studying to be a nurse?
Oh shit.
I win. Come back later when you're feeling up to the challenge.
Okay, let's try that again.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new.
I've got muscles in places you've never even heard of.
Oh, it's too bad none of them are in your arms. My 98-year-old grandmother has bigger arms than you.
Yeah, but we've both got better bladder control than you do. You're the ugliest creature I've ever seen in my life.
I'm shocked that you never have gazed at your wife. I'm gonna put your arm in a sling.
Why? You studying to be a nurse? Today by myself, 12 people I've beaten.
I am rubber. You are glue.
Give up now or I'll crush you like a grape.
I'm shaking. Oh, I'm shaking.
Aha!
I won.
Did it, finally!
You did. Fair and square. Congratulations. You got yourself a navigator.
Okay, well, we did that. Now for the next thing. I'm having to use a guide in order to help me out through most of this stuff, because it's like, sometimes you don't think 100% all the way, so it's like, guess it's high time just to go ahead and just use a walkthrough and stuff like that. Plus, we'd be here all day. That looks slingshotty looking.
Not a bad piece of modern art, if I do say so myself.
And since we got the prancels, we'll give them to the pirate. Here we go.
Here, I brought you some kudu jerky pretzels.
Really? Thanks. I really appreciate this.
You're welcome. You know, you could thank me by not chucking big old boulders at my house.
Good, but I won't. Now leave me alone for a minute while I eat these.
Oh, ungrateful.
Now we can mess with this, finally.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
Nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
You totally messed up my catapult. What you trying to do to me? You're killing me over here. Well, guess I'm gonna have to start over in my calibration cactus over there. Get out of my way.
It will.
There. It's recalibrated to the cactus. Let's try it. Fire! What the?
I say that worked.
Ha! I can't believe you did that. Do you have any idea what those things cost? They don't grow on trees, you know.
Well, we stopped it.
I'm still dead.
But don't worry, I'll love you even after rigor mortis sets in.
We've been gone so long they didn't think I was coming back. So those numbskulls at City Hall declared me dead at sea.
What about me? Did they say anything about me?
No. Then they decided to sell all my belongings and destroy the mansion.
That's terrible. Did they sell any of my stuff?
And the worst part is, they've ordered a new election for the office of governor.
Name, Mr. Threepwood, is Charles L. Charles.
But you can call me the next governor of Melee Island.
You can't be the governor. I'm the governor. And it's a lifetime term.
Well, that's the rub, isn't it? You've been declared dead.
So I've heard. How did that happen?
Who can say? Perhaps if you'd spent a little more time governing, and less time gallivanting all over the Tri-Island area with your pet monkey,
ouch,
the good citizens of Melee wouldn't have come to the mistaken conclusion that you were pushing up the petunias.
Wait a second. Was I the pet monkey in that last sentence?
Okay.
Not the sharpest boy, is he?
But why, Guybrush, love of my life, I'm a politician. Let me do what I do best. I'll let you do what you do best.
Which is to find random objects and see if they work. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, this took me quite a bit to try to figure out this stuff. It wasn't until I had to look up a walkthrough in order to get through most of it anyway. But, with that being said, not going to lie, I kind of like it. I mean, I've been trying to kind of get back into the Sam and Max franchise, you know, what with the fact that Limited Run is re-releasing the titles for Nintendo Switch and stuff like that, so been kind of getting into that lately. And I know Monkey Island's pretty good, so this ain't too bad. It has its moments, and once it finally hits, it hits. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. This is Black Cross signing off. Catch you guys later.